Most people think planting oil palm is simple. Buy some land, plant a few seedlings, wait a few years, then start collecting money. But that's not how it works. Because before your first harvest, your plantation has already been asking you one important question. Can you afford to keep me alive? The biggest mistake new investors make isn't choosing the wrong land. It isn't buying the wrong seedlings. It's underestimating how much money disappears before a single fruit is harvested. So I decided to calculate every major cost involved in establishing an oil palm plantation, from buying the land to the first harvest. Not to discourage anyone, but so you can plan with your eyes open instead of relying on social media promises. By the end of this video, you'll know where your money actually goes, which expenses surprise most beginners, and whether oil palm is still worth investing in after seeing the real numbers. Section 1. Why most cost estimates are misleading. If you've searched online for the cost of planting oil palm, you've probably seen numbers that are all over the place. One person says it's cheap, another says you'll spend a fortune. Who's right? The truth is, both can be, because there isn't one universal cost. Your budget depends on several factors. How expensive is land in your area? Is the land already cleared? Do you have access to workers? Will you hire equipment or do everything manually? How far is the plantation from the nearest road? These small differences can completely change your total investment. That's why in this video, we're focusing on the expenses that almost every serious plantation owner will eventually face. Some costs happen only once. Others keep coming back every year. Ignoring either one can become very expensive later. Section 2. The first major expense. Land. Everything starts with land, and this is usually the biggest single expense. Some people inherit land, others lease it, many buy it outright. The price varies enormously depending on the country, location, soil quality, and accessibility. Land close to major roads usually costs more. Land deep inside rural areas may be cheaper. But transporting workers, fertilizer, seedlings, and harvested fruit becomes more expensive. A cheaper piece of land isn't always the cheaper investment. Sometimes paying more for better access actually saves money over the life of the plantation. This is why experienced investors don't just ask, how much does the land cost? They also ask, how much will this location cost me every single year? Section 3. Land preparation. After buying the land, you're still nowhere near planting. Bushes have to be cleared. Old trees may need to be removed. The land often has to be surveyed. Planting lines must be marked. Drainage may need improvement if water collects. Access paths may need to be created. If heavy machinery is required, costs rise quickly. If the land has already been cultivated before, preparation may be much cheaper. This stage is one reason why two plantations of the same size can have very different startup costs. Section 4. Buying quality seedlings. This is one place where trying to save money often becomes very expensive. High-quality seedlings usually cost more, but poor genetics can reduce production for decades. Remember, an oil palm tree may produce for over 25 years. Buying weak planting material to save a little today could cost thousands in lost harvest over its lifetime. That's why experienced growers often say, you only plant once. Choose carefully. Always buy certified seedlings from reputable nurseries whenever possible. Section 5. Planting costs. Once the seedlings arrive, someone still has to plant them. Holes must be dug. Spacing has to be correct. Each seedling must be handled carefully. Planting too close reduces sunlight later. Planting too far apart wastes valuable land. Poor planting decisions made in one day can affect production for decades. Good establishment is an investment, not an expense. Section 6. Fertilizer, the cost that never really stops. Many beginners think fertilizer is something you buy once. It isn't. Oil palm removes nutrients from the soil every year. Those nutrients have to be replaced. Otherwise, growth slows, fruit production declines, and profits shrink. Fertilizer prices also change regularly, so this becomes one of the most important recurring costs throughout the life of the plantation. Skipping fertilizer might save money this year, but it often costs much more in lost yield later. Section 7. Weed control. Nature never takes a holiday. If you stop controlling weeds, the weeds take over. They compete for water. They compete for nutrients. They compete for sunlight. Some farmers clear weeds manually, others use herbicides. Many combine both methods. Either way, weed control is not a one-time job. It's continuous. Ignoring it can reduce productivity much faster than many new investors expect. Section 8. Labor. Even if your plantation is small, you probably won't do everything yourself forever. Workers may be needed for planting, fertilizer application, pruning, harvesting, transporting fruit, maintenance. Labor costs are easy to underestimate because they don't arrive all at once. Instead, they appear month after month, year after year. Small payments accumulate into one of the largest long-term expenses. Section 9. Pest and disease management. Healthy plantations don't happen by accident. Insects, rodents, diseases, nutrient deficiencies. Every plantation eventually faces some challenge. The goal isn't to eliminate every problem. The goal is to detect problems early before they spread. Regular monitoring usually costs far less than replacing damaged trees later. Section 10. Harvesting and transportation. Finally, after years of waiting, harvest begins. Many people think this is where expenses end. Actually, a new category of expenses begins. Fresh fruit bunches must be harvested at the right time. Too early, oil content is lower. Too late, fruit quality declines. Then the fruit must reach the processing mill quickly. Delays reduce quality. Transportation costs therefore become part of your ongoing operating expenses. A plantation located close to processing facilities often enjoys a significant advantage. Section 11. The hidden costs. Nobody talks about these are the expenses that surprise many first-time investors. Replacing dead seedlings, repairing farm roads after heavy rain, fuel, equipment maintenance, security, unexpected labor shortages, inflation, rising fertilizer prices, weather damage. None of these may seem large individually, but together, they quietly increase the total cost of ownership. Successful plantation owners don't budget only for expected expenses. They also leave room for unexpected ones, because agriculture rarely follows a perfect plan. Section 12. So, is oil palm still worth it? After looking at all these costs, you might wonder whether investing in oil palm still makes sense. In my opinion, the answer depends on your expectations. If you're looking for quick money, oil palm will probably disappoint you. The trees need time. The investment requires patience. The early years demand continuous spending before meaningful income arrives. But if you're building a long-term productive asset, the conversation changes. A well-managed plantation can continue producing for decades. That doesn't mean success is guaranteed. Poor management can destroy profitability just as easily. The plantation itself doesn't make people wealthy. Good management does. One lesson became very clear while calculating every major cost. The biggest challenge isn't planting the trees. It's staying financially prepared until those trees begin rewarding your patience. If you're considering investing in oil palm, don't only ask, how much does it cost to start? Also ask, can I comfortably afford the years before the plantation starts paying me back? That single question may save you from making one of the most expensive mistakes in agriculture. If you found this breakdown useful, let me know in the comments which cost surprised you the most. And if you'd like to see a future video where I break down the actual numbers for different plantation sizes, from 1 acre to 100 acres, subscribe so you don't miss it.